Once again, sleep refused to come. My mind worked furiously, turning over everything Sen had told me, examining it from every angle. I was a demon. Not only that, but I was the head of a pure-blooded demon clan that was nearly destroyed, my heritage being the reason for Kazama's continued interest. Gosh. I had decided to stay with the Shinsengumi, but was that really the best idea? Should I have left instead? I wanted to stay, of course, but I didn't really think leaving was a reasonable choice, but what if I'd made a mistake? I heard a sound from outside and it made me jump. That sound. Could it be?
Yukimura-kun, 夜分遅く失礼します。
I heard Shimada from the hallway. Hi! The door snapped open as Shimada stepped in. His eyes darted back and forth nervously and his body was tense. Has something happened?
はい。鬼たちが屯所に襲撃をかけてきました。
What?
奴らの狙いは君です。この部屋でじっとしていてください。
But I was the reason they'd come here. How could I justify sitting on my hands while others fought my battles for me? I don't know what to do. Well, staying in our room. Alright. I'll stay here. So please, help everyone else, Shimada. Although I'd only encountered them a few times, I knew just how powerful the demons could be. I was sure the more Shinsengumi men there were, the chances of their survival were better.
いえ、俺は君を護衛するよう命じられてきましたから。
Just then, the sounds of blades clanging against one another rang outside the room.
君は部屋に隠れていてください。俺が様子を見てきます。
Please be careful. Shimada grabbed his sword's hilt on his hip, but immediately after... Shimada! I ran to the door to see what happened to him. But what should I do? Run away from the room! If I remain here, I was sure that I would be caught. So I decided to run away from the room. My ear caught onto the chaos out front. I went running to the other side of the compounds. When I'd arrived at the inner yard...
ようやく見つけたぞ。
You...
今日、野生一族の者がここを訪れたそうだ。かの者たちから様々なことを聞かされただろう。誇り高き純血の鬼であるお前は、このようなまがい者どもの巣にはそぐ。おとなしく俺と共に来い。
What should I do? Fight Kazama! I won't go with you! I unsheathed my kodachi, holding it a tad unsteadily in my hands, and assumed a stance.
何のつもりだ。この俺にかなうと思っているのか。
Well...
彼女では無理かもしれませんね。ですが、私なら叶うと思います。
Sanan. Sanan-san emerged from the shadows and he placed himself between Kazama and me.
貴様、まがい者の分際で俺にかなうと思っているのか。
それはやってみなくてはわかりませんが。一つ訂正させてください。私はまがい者ではなく羅刹です。この羅刹の力、あなたのその身で味わっていただきます。ああ
What was that? Did that just glitch for a second? Sanan-san had struck Kazama, but before I could even blink, Kazama drew his sword and parried the jab.
この力、ただの人間とは違うようだな。だがそれだけだ。 まがいものという本当の意味を教えてやろう。どうあがいても本物の鬼にはかなわぬ偽物であるということをな。
The exchange of glimmering slashes moved at a pace faster than my eyesight could follow. All I could make out was the faint reflection of light on their blades from the moonlight. To me, they appeared to be, dare I say, almost equal in strength. But for a moment, it seemed as though Sanan had trouble with Kazama's flurry of attacks. After stepping back, I'd realized that Sanan was covered in bloody cuts and gashes across his body. Sanan!
これくらい大丈夫です。私を信じてください。
This was a testament to the power of the Furies. Sanan-san's open wounds were healing instantly. As Kazama was watching, he tightened his lips.
このいまいましいまがいものの末路を見ているがいい。
What should I do? We gotta trust Sanan-san. I trust you, Sanan-san!
ありがとう、雪村君。私は再び刀を握るために羅刹となったのです。その力、今ここで存分に発揮しましょう。この羅刹の力をまがいものと呼んだことを後悔するがいい。
まがいものは所詮まがいもの。偽物らしく刀のサビになれ。
鬼といえどもそう簡単にはサビにできないようですね。まがいものとはいえあなたと対等に戦えるということです。
貴様、今度こそ本当に消し去ってやるぞ。
まだ本気ではなかったのですか。随分と余裕があるようだ。
まがいものの分際でよく動く口だ。
では本気でかかってきなさい。私も本気で相手をしましょう。
Did I mention that Sanan-san was looking for a fight? The two moved a distance apart from one another.
三男隊長、羅刹隊加勢します。
A few warriors had arrived, all of them unsheathing their swords and surrounding Kazama. They were Furies. All of them had white hair and crimson eyes.
いいだろう。まがいものはすべてこの場で滅してやる。
羅刹隊の力を侮らないでもらいたい。
Kazama and Sanan-san slowly edged closer towards one another.
風間、そこまでです。
I wasn't sure where he had come from, but Amagiri had appeared inside the inner yard.
天霧、止めるな。
騒ぎが西本願寺に伝わりました。大事になる前にこの場を引き上げます。
帰りたければ勝手に帰れ。
それは困ります。今のあなたの立場を理解してください。
分かった。この場は引いてやる。
Kazama replaced his blade into his sheath, and he shot a hateful glance towards Sanan-san.
ここのまがいものは後で必ず始末してやる。
その時はこの羅刹である私がお相手しましょう。
Kazama and Amagiri, without struggle, easily leapt over the wall of the yard and disappeared.
羅刹隊は彼らの後を追ってください。
The warriors all dispersed from the inner yard upon Sanan-san's command. Finally, the compounds were silent once more. I was dumbfounded, and Sanan-san stood in front of me.
私は役に立ちましたか？
Why does this sentence sort of hit my heart in a way I didn't expect? More than you know. Thank you. Sanan-san stared down at his left hand, and he began flexing his hand repeatedly.
刀を振るってこその武士。私はまだ武士でいられるのですね。
Sanan-san. I was taken aback by how vulnerable he must have felt in the moment, and Sanan-san spoke warmly.
私は報告に行きます。あなたは部屋に戻っていてください。
As he turned to leave, I watched as his silhouette was engulfed by the darkness until he was gone. After time passed to the following day. Good morning, everyone.
ああ、おはよう、雪村くん。ゆうべはよく眠れたかい？
I think we can skip this.
無
Yeah, we can skip.
今
And Shimada again. And we find out we're being kicked out of
Yeah.
the temple because fighting monks did not like the fighting at all. So
元々
they
一つ
offered
いて
a place
まあ
for us to move to. So we're not like kicked out without a place. We just have to wait a few months while the new compound was built. And then we moved. Also, Haruka has a dog named Shimu. He's a white Shiba Inu. Listen, this game needs a mascot. This game needs a mascot, and yes, I will put him in a tiny little uniform when they return to Edo. July 1867. Knowing better than to stay, the Shinsengumi agreed to Nishihon Wanji's request and transferred their headquarters to Fudoro. We had to travel south from the temple on Nishihon Wanji to reach Fudoro village. My first glimpse of our new home surprised me so much that I had to stand there for a few minutes to take it in. Pristine and in working order, the huge compound sat proudly upon a fair-sized piece of land. There had to be so much space inside that even after the rest of the men joined us, there would be room to spare. There was even a watchtower. For the watch! It must have been comparable in scale to a daimyo's mansion, and the thought left me awestruck. This is our new headquarters?
ああ、その通りだ。これからはここが我ら新選組の本拠となる。
I love this spread of Kondo-san because he looks so happy. It is just Dad's happy.
広さも申し分ない。余計なやつの目もねえし、これからはいろいろと楽になるな。
The stern look in Hijikata-san's face appeared to have vanished today. In fact, he looked to be in a pretty good mood, which is very rare for fucking Hijikata. But his upbeat attitude was nothing next to Kondo-san's.
うん、そうだ。雪村君はまだ豚書の中を見ていないのだったな。
I haven't.
そうかそうか。ではせっかくだから俺が豚書を案内しよう。
But you must be really busy with setting things up. You don't have the time. I wasn't sure it was such a good idea, but his smile was so infectious and he nearly danced from eagerness. I felt my resistance crumbling away. Hijikata-san's eyes slid to the side to watch his chief. He grinned warily and shrugged.
おとなしく案内してもらっとけ。一条っていうには少々足りねえが、一国一条の主ってのは男の夢だからな。近藤さんも誰かに見せたくてしょうがないんだろうよ。
I'd be honored to have a tour, Kondo-san.
うんうん、任せておいてくれ。 さて、まずはどこから案内したものか。クリアも風呂も実に広くてな。
Every new house came with a certain sense of anticipation, and this one was no different. It was with building excitement that I stepped inside after Kondo-san, my head swiveling from side to side to take everything in.
さて、まずはやはり君の資質を紹介しておかんとな。
This is my room? The new mats on the ground filled the room with a fresh scent, and the sunbeams that danced inside brought warmth and a sense of peace. The door designs look slightly fancier too, as if they wanted to give me a little extra something.
どうだろう。気に入ってもらえただろうか。
Of course! I jumped to reassure him, and his smile widened when he realized I approved of their choice. But is all of this okay? I'm not a member, and yet you're letting me have such a grand room.
いやいや、気にすることはないぞ。今回の豚書は普通の大使も余裕を持って生活できる広さになっている。それに御両エジが抜けて部屋にも空きがあるからな。
Oh. For a brief moment, Kondo-san's happy expression faded into a somber one. I had a feeling that he was thinking about Heisuke and Saito-san right now. I knew I was. I opened my mouth to say something, but before I could, his face cleared and he continued speaking.
ともかく広さについては心配ない。西本願寺も広かったが、あそこは我々に好意的とは言えなかったからな。先方にもみんなにも心苦しい思いをさせた。それに比べれば、ここは気兼ねなく暮らせるというものだ。
You're right. We had only been borrowing space at all the previous locations, Yagi and Nishihowanji, and had to abide by the wishes of our sponsors. But now, I could only imagine the emotions swirling through Kondo-san with this new place.
さてと、では次にどこを案内するとしようか。
What other rooms are here?
そうだな。お、そういえば今度の豚書には立派な道場があるぞ。ぜひ見てくれ。
With a grin and jaunty bounce in his step, he began to walk off when suddenly he came to a halt, calling over his shoulder to me.
と、その前に少し寄り道をしていって構わないかな。
Curious, I followed him through the maze of hallways until we reached